What's going on, guys? This is Kobe DW here, and today I'm going to be reviewing last night's WWE pay-per-view. It was Survivor Series 2020. So this officially marked the 30-year anniversary of The Undertaker, who is arguably the greatest professional wrestler in the history of wrestling. He's been in the company for 30 years. He's never went to any other wrestling company because he always stayed in WWE, which was good. So, the show itself was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. The ending was pretty emotional, even when the hologram of Paul Bear, paying tribute to Undertaker and whatnot, or Undertaker paying tribute to Paul Bear in that final farewell, which was pretty appropriate because he was always in Undertaker's corner for so many years. So, without further ado, let's start with the matches. So, the first match of Survivor Series last night was the 5-on-5 men's Survivor Series match between Team Raw's AJ Styles, Riddle, Keith Lee, Braun Strowman, and Sheamus versus SmackDown's Jey Uso, King Corbin, Otis, Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens. The match was good. It really didn't exceed my expectations a lot, but it was good enough, and I liked it. I just didn't like the fact that SmackDown was just SmackDown's team was very weak, and that's what really irritates me. Why can't SmackDown get a good team these days? Last year, at the last year's Survivor Series, they beat Raw and NXT in the 15-man tag team match, but I'll get to that when I review last year's Survivor Series. But let's talk about this one. So SmackDown's team was completely weak, despite having Otis and Kevin Owens and King Corbin like that. So Seth Rollins, who was tagged, I forgot who tagged in Seth Rollins, but he came into the ring, he stared down Sheamus, and he stares at his opponents and says, "This is for the greater good," goes to his knees, spreads his arm out, and gets bro kicked in the face by Sheamus and gets eliminated. And he had to do what he had to do because I knew SmackDown was going to lose. Like Raw had a bunch of big guys, where just SmackDown was just whatever. But the match was good. There were a few moves in it. I was kind of impressed. Raw completely kept their team 100%. They just swept away the SmackDown team. Not one member of SmackDown had an elimination. So they just got eliminated. But I did thoroughly enjoy the match. Again, there were some moves I enjoyed. So I gave the match 3.5 stars. Alright, the second match of the night was the New Day versus the Street Profits. It was a dream match, and it really exceeded my expectations pretty much. It wasn't going to be the 5-star classic, because obviously I knew the match wasn't going to be 5 stars, but I really didn't expect it to be that good. That good, basically. The Street Profits and the New Day, they have something in common. They like to have fun and whatnot, but in this match, it was all about, physicality. And they fought a lot. I think the match was 15 minutes long, longer than 15 minutes. So, they fought back and forth. That Montez's frog splash off the top rope. I'm telling you, Montez, with the exception of Eddie Guerrero and Leo Rush, Montez has the best frog splash right now in WWE. So, and obviously, I can't remember if he hit it on Xavier or Kofi, but he kicked out, and then Xavier and Kofi did the Midnight Hour on Angelo Dawkins, I believe, but he kicked out because Xavier is not Big E. If it was Big E, the match would have been over right then and there, but it wasn't, so I can understand why the match had to continue. And then the Street Profits, Kofi went for the Trouble in Paradise, missed it, and then Montez did his version of Trouble in Paradise. Hit an electric chair blockbuster to Kofi Kingston, or I think it was Xavier. It was Xavier, and the Street Profits beat the New Day, which I kind of really didn't expect it. So, hats off to both the New Day and the Street Profits. I gave the match 4 stars. Props to them for putting on a great tag team match. The third match of the night was Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn, and I knew the outcome of the match was going to be Bobby Lashley winning. I mean, the match was like less than 10 minutes long. I really didn't enjoy it. I obviously knew who was going to win because of the size difference. Sometimes you automatically know what's going to happen unless they like completely make a last second decision or whatnot. So Bobby won. End of story. I gave the match 1.5 stars because I didn't really like it that much. So let's move on. The fourth match was Asuka versus Sasha Banks. Thoroughly enjoyable. I know it's definitely not the first time they've fought throughout their career, but it was pretty good. It was definitely better than their I think just as good as their Extreme Rules encounter, but I got extreme, like no pun intended, extremely better than their SummerSlam encounter, because their all three of their matches together, like Extreme Rules, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series just last night, all of them were thoroughly enjoyable, but Survivor Series I kind of enjoyed the most because Sasha Banks, she just won the SmackDown Women's Championship, and she's finally gaining some momentum because now she successfully defended a title for the first time in her life compared to the other 5 times she's been Women's Champion, where on the first title defense, she would just lose it like that. And this one, her luck has finally changed. She actually defended a title, she retained a title for once, and we were all just had a sigh of relief. So, but yeah, I'd basically the same as their like Extreme Rules and SummerSlam encounter, but again, thoroughly enjoyable. And Sasha beat Asuka, which was kind of shocking. And I gave the match 3 3/4 stars. The fifth match of the night was the 5-on-5 Women's Survivor Series elimination match, and it was Raw's Shayna Baszler. This was Team Raw I'm talking about. Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Lacey Evans, Peyton, Royce, and Lana, which I'll explain once I get to the ending of that match, versus Team SmackDown's Bayley, Natalya, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Bianca Belair. The match was decent, but just really didn't. It was just whatever. Now I give Bianca props to hanging on in the last few minutes of the match between Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, because I know Jax and Belair got counted out, and that's what left Lana the sole survivor by doing absolutely nothing, despite fighting for a few minutes before ultimately getting tagged out by Nia Jax. Yeah, it was freaking pathetic, and Nia Jax has been attacked so many times by Lana over the past few months, and Lana just somehow got lucky because she became the sole survivor of that match, and she was happy. I didn't really care because, didn't care about Lana in the first place, but that was just it. But the last moments I thought were pretty cool. Bianca surviving, well, technically not because she lost, but she still, she didn't get knocked out or anything. I'm not talking about legitimately, but, she survived Shayna Baszler and she survived Nia Jax, but she didn't win the match because she got counted out, but at least she didn't, get completely pummeled or anything. So, that was just it. The ending was just whatever. So, and I gave the match 3 1/4 stars. Now, the main event was Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. It was fucking insane and intense too. It was definitely one of the best Survivor Series main events I've seen in recent memory. I don't know if it was good in terms of like Brock Lesnar or Daniel Bryan 2 years previous, but it was definitely intense. It was slow paced for like the first 5 minutes, and then they started speeding it up the pace, and then the two just went absolutely at it. McIntyre's spear counter into the Kimura was absolutely freaking amazing. I was shocked. I actually thought Roman was going to tap out for a second, and I was like, wait, no, it's Roman Reigns. What am I talking about? So Roman hits like 2 spears and like 3 Superman punches or what that. He still couldn't put McIntyre away. McIntyre delivers a Claymore to Roman, but Roman accidentally bumps into the referee, which causes him to be knocked down. And Jey Uso, who, might I add, was the only member remaining for Team SmackDown before the Ultimate lost, and Reigns was talking to Jey Uso saying, just get out of here because you made our team lost, you're not worth it. Well, obviously Jey didn't listen because he wanted to do a favor for Roman. win the match. So Roman didn't know what was going on, and neither did the referee. So Jay came out, tried to attack McIntyre. Didn't work at first. Roman hits a low blow. Jay super kicks Drew McIntyre, locks in a guillotine, and the match was over. And Roman forgave Jay for what he did. So that's how the families work, you know. You do something stupid, and then you pay the favor. So yeah, McIntyre and Reigns was definitely a main event that lived up to his hypes, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's definitely a match of the year candidate for me. And I gave the match 4.5 stars. Now, the ending part of the show was the celebration of the 30-year anniversary of The Undertaker and the final farewell, because he's leaving WWE for good. I know he already retired this year. We might see Undertaker a few times every now and then, but not like to wrestle, because he's done. He's way past his prime. Yeah, he's done wrestling. I mean, yeah, we might see him like crowds and often, but he's not going to wrestle anymore. He's way past his prime. He's in his mid-50s, and it's about time he's doing it. So, a bunch of legends like Shane McMahon, Kane, Shawn Michaels, Booker T. If you saw the pay-per-view last night, you'll get what I'm saying. It was pretty cool, but when like the show came back on after that like 3 or 5 minute long promo about the Undertaker's anniversary being in WWE, everyone just left, and all there was Vince McMahon in the ring. And the entrance was fantastic. That was without a question one of Undertaker's best entrances in WWE history, and even at his retirement too. It was freaking amazing. He said it's I can't remember exactly what the Undertaker said in that promo, but it said something. He said something about it's time for the Undertaker himself to rest in peace. That was a perfect quote in that retirement, because the Undertaker was hands down like had the best character in the history of WWE. Everyone loved him, and besides WrestleMania 36, this was his official last match in WWE against AJ Styles, which I thoroughly enjoyed, but I'll get to that once I review WrestleMania 36 some other time. So the promo and the farewell of the Undertaker was absolutely emotional. You know, he didn't say much, but those few lines is what made the promo absolutely legendary. And the hologram of Paul Bear was absolutely appropriate, because, you know, back when Paul Bear died 7 years ago, Undertaker paid homage to him, and they had to do that favor. So overall, Survivor Series was not as good as last year's Survivor Series, but it was definitely good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So overall, I give Survivor Series 2020 a 7.5 out of 10. So if you enjoyed this video, I hope you did. Leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos. Peace out.